Well, good morning. So I'm continuing to work my way through a list of 25 statements about what conscious partners know. And it comes from Harville Hendricks' book and his wife's book, Doing Imago Relationship in the Space Between. So this morning I'm going to look at number 6 to 8. Number 6, they have complementary defenses that are natural, and they accept that fact about each other without judgment. Pardon me. They can reconstruct the memory their partner has of them by expressing new behaviors with intensity. And number 8, I like this one, they are different from each other and will never be the same. Similarity is as good as it gets. So number 1, they have complementary defenses that are natural, pardon me, and they accept that fact about each other without judgment. So what comes to mind right away for me is the turtle and hailstorm analogy. Over millions of years, nature's learned better chance to survive if you explode your energy out, the fight or flight, we've all heard, or we constrict energy in, the freeze response. And often couples with these opposite coping mechanisms marry each other. And if there's an issue, one person tends to be on the side of talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. The other person tends to be on the side of leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And these are simply natural responses that people have learned. It doesn't make one right or one wrong. They're just natural. Now the problem is that if it remains unconscious, that can become one of the sources of the power struggle. All right. So in a more conscious relationship, although the defenses are normal, there's no judgment. But couples simply learn to adapt these natural responses in a more intentional way. And in the Imago system, we use the Imago dialogue, which creates safety and facilitates connecting. Remember, number 2 I talked about last week. But those different responses are natural. It doesn't mean anything. But if it's not working, then how can we do it differently? And that's the intentionally using a more intentional dialogue, the intentional dialogue process. Number 7, they can reconstruct the memory their partner has of them by expressing new behaviors with intensity. And here's how I look at that. Now, you might take a different view, but I'm going to oversimplify here, but I'm going to use my wife and myself as an example. It will be different for you, obviously, but see if this makes sense. So, remember, those of you who know, I grew up in a boarding school, didn't learn to do feelings very well, okay? So in those first 15 years of our marriage, that was sort of the memory my partner had of me, is that, well, here's a guy that really doesn't do feelings all that great. Anyway, but as we started doing the Imago work and as it became more conscious and more intentional, I did learn to express my feelings more easily. You know, I'm probably not at the same level as she is, but it's enough that it works. And so then her memory of me over the last 35 years has shifted to someone who, he can actually show some feelings and we can have great talks. So the key here is to express the new behaviors. So think about it. If you have broken trust, for example, you need to express trusting behaviors, and as Harville adds, with intensity, but the memory can change. All right? So our memories can change, and that's number 7. They can, in a conscious marriage, couples can reconstruct the memory of their partner has them by expressing new behaviors with intensity, but you have to act differently, obviously. You can't continue doing the old thing. Then number 8, and I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, they are different from each other and never will be the same. Similarity is as good as it gets. So, and Harville's contention is, and think about it, most of the world's ills result from objection to difference. You know, male, female, gay, straight, black, white, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal. It's that's his take. Okay, that it's objection to difference is the main problem. But think about it. Nature, creation, the hallmark of creation is difference. Everything is different. There's nothing that's exactly the same. Think of your fingerprints. All right? And there's nothing wrong with difference. It just is. Everything is. All right? And what happens in the romantic love phase of a relationship, sometimes folks see their partner as sort of another self. You know, we like the same things, we can finish each other's sentences, we're just like each other. And we're saying no, in a more conscious relationship, partners know they're different from each other. And they'll never be the same. Similarity is as good as it gets, but that's okay. You know, if those of you who know me couldn't find anybody more different than my wife. But we somehow make it work, and that's great. Okay. Anyway, see you next week. We'll keep working our way through this, but hopefully it's helpful. It's the idea of, like I said, I would characterize most relationships, they're unconscious, old brain, reactive. And what we're trying to do is become more conscious, use our new brain, our thinking brain, and become more intentional. And I'm just going through, in a conscious relationship, or what conscious partners know is, you know, these statements that I'm explaining. Okay? Have a great week. Cheers.